Hey everybody, it's Tara Green here. For some reason, I'm doing the Star Trek Live Long and Prosper. Just came to me spontaneously. So, hi everybody, I can see you this time. Wow, that's a revelation. So, no matter who came on first, and Nicole and Anya and Damien, I don't know where you're from, so maybe you want to say, let me know where you're from. I'm up here in Toronto, Canada. I'm Agent 129 of the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. So, welcome. Uh, Cosmic Intelligence Agency fans, fans from however you got here, welcome to this monthly tarot astrology preview that I've been doing for a couple of years now. And it's my pleasure and honor to do this for you. So the way this works, hi, Monica. Hi, Patricia from Sacramento. Good. North Carolina. Somebody from Buffalo. Hey, you're across the lake. Massachusetts, North Florida. Hi, everybody. So I'll give it a minute for people to come on. If you haven't been to this astrology tarot preview, the way I do it is I'm going to go through the major astrology aspects for the month. So I'm going to kind of read them off. I'm going to kind of riff off what's happening to let you know. And then I will use my tarot deck. Now, this is my trusty, hi from Australia. This is my trusty Thoth tarot deck that I've used for over 30 years here. And we are in the month of Taurus, of course, and we're going to move into the month of Gemini. So these are the tarot cards, whoops, too much light there, that represent those months. So I will pick then a tarot card sign by sign. So, if you know your rising sign, if you know your sun sign, your moon sign, you can even use Mercury and Venus, Mars, whatever. For each of the cards I choose, of course, I'm going to go through the 12 signs of the zodiac. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to smudge everybody there. Hi from Pemberton. Okay, it's going to smudge everybody. So welcome, welcome. This is a bit of a sacred site here. All right, so May. So can you believe we're in May already, 2022? And of course, I have to mention how y'all doing since we just had, that big Taurus solar eclipse conjunct Uranus on the weekend with the Venus Neptune conjunction, Venus Jupiter conjunction. So I don't know about you, but everybody's been feeling kind of reeling. And I was going to do this broadcast. It was I'm very fiery. So I thought I was going to be able to do this one on Saturday. I usually do it before May the 1st, but I've had some jaw surgery here. So I'm a little bit swelled up soon, but feeling much better now. So, and speaking of fire signs, Venus just entered Aries earlier today. It is May the 2nd here in Eastern Daylight Time. I know in Australia there, you're already a day ahead. So things are going to start to get fired up after we've been all in this somnambulistic, waking dream of all the, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces. Okay, so yes, the effects of that eclipse, the solar eclipse, are going to affect everybody for the next 6 months at least. Okay, now there is going to be another eclipse, of course, on May the 15th. It's at 9:14 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Super blood moon eclipse in Scorpio at 25 plus degrees. So if you're a Scorpio, or if you know where your planets are, you know that if you're a late fixed sign, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you're going to get hit quite deadly Scorpio. With a sign, major transformation sign. Okay, there is also a new moon this month on the 30th at 9 degrees of Gemini. There are planets changing sign this month. There's a big month of planet changes. Mercury turns retrograde at 4 degrees of Gemini on May the 10th. And May the 10th, hang on, I'll tell you how long Venus is in Aries for. Mercury retrograde, we're already in that shadow. We know about that already. And especially I find that when Mercury is in its own sign, Gemini, of course, or in Virgo, it wreaks more havoc. So, quickly get ready and try to get as much stuff as you can done before Mercury totally goes retrograde. Again, 4 degrees of Gemini, May the 10th. On the same day, big day. I've got a big bet on how much the energy is going to change on May the 10th when Jupiter enters Aries. And it's like the big cosmic boom, wake up call, waking up from the sleep that we've all been in. It's like, yeah, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore. So that's going to be really interesting to get all fired up there. So, of course, Aries, this is a very big time for you, or all the fire signs, start your engines. Yes, Venus enters Aries May the 2nd until June the 22nd. So if you're in Aries, you get all the love for all that time. Mars will also enter Aries on April the 24th. So Mars will enter his home sign as well. Again, Jupiter enters Aries May the 10th until October the 28th. So that's quite a long time of a big change in gears where things are going to start to move forward. Then Jupiter will, of course, backtrack back into Pisces for one last wonderful dream, beautiful dream until December the 20th. So there's lots of easy supportive sextiles between the planets. That's when they're 2 signs apart. They're either in, Capricorn, Pisces, or in Aries, Gemini, right, like that. So, yeah. So again, recovering from the dark moon month. Kind of very rare to have 2 dark moons in a month. And then that Uranus energy. So things are going to be a little bit crazy for a while. We know that. The Venus, Jupiter, and Pisces conjunction, 27 degrees at that exalted degree. Very rare, very auspicious, very special energy. But, you're going to start to feel that shift right now. So, Beltane, happy Beltane for those that celebrated pagans and Venus and Pisces sextile Pluto. I'm backtracking a bit, of course. So tomorrow, or today, in Australia, on the 3rd, Jupiter sextiles Pluto. That's an easy, supportive, wealthy aspect. So for people who'd like to work with the planets, you want to do some prayers, working with those degrees. If you have planets at those degrees, late degrees of Capricorn, Pisces, that's auspicious for you as well. And then on the 4th, Mars in Pisces sextiles Uranus and Taurus at 14 plus degrees. It's very psychic, but you might be getting chaotic messages, because Uranus is the planet of chaos, right? Or you can tune in and watch what they're doing on the internet. It's got like your own AI there. All right, on May the 5th, that's 5/5. Traditionally, May the 5th is in Mexico. I believe that's their big revolutionary day. The sun conjuncts Uranus, so that is a big day. Chaos, earthquakes, it's explosive, it's quite dangerous. Be very careful working with anything flammable or anything like that, even though it's in Earth. But, it could be a big market tumble down. Again, tech stocks have been doing bad, could be even more of that stuff. So watch out, people could be driving really crazy, very erratic energy. On the 5th, Mercury and Gemini sextiles Venus and Aries at 4 plus degrees. That's on the 6th, the next day. So lots of sexy texting that day. On the 7th, the Sun sextiles Mars in Pisces. These are nice, supportive aspects. 16 plus degrees. That's like practical, creative dreaming. And I'm sure your dreams have been totally off the map these days, of course. On the 10th, again, Mercury turns retrograde, Jupiter enters Aries. I'm reiterating here. On the 15th, we get a break there for 5 days. Venus conjuncts Chiron in Aries at 14 plus degrees of Aries. And that's, love hurts. And that's where you might want to look at the armoring, take off the armoring, really talk about where you're wounded and where you can be vulnerable to create intimacy. Okay. On that day also, Sun square Saturn in Aquarius. So again, some tech stock stuff, also fiat currency, cryptocurrencies, Saturn rules Aquarius traditionally, and Aquarius rules the internet. Sun sextiles Neptune also on that day, 24 Taurus Pisces, close to the fixed star Algol. Again, it's good for dreaming, practical dreaming, planning, things like that. Just because Mercury is retrograde doesn't mean we stop, but it is a good time to go within, to review, to look over what we've been doing, okay, over the last while. Okay. On the 15th, that lunar eclipse at 25 Scorpio, 9:14 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. It's on the 15th at 12:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and 4:14 a.m. GMT. So again, big lunar eclipse, times of transformation. Scorpio rules finances. So I'm expecting some big financial meltdowns coming further down the pike. And a big, sense, the South Node is in Scorpio. So we're releasing a lot of old karma, a lot of old emotional things that we're holding on to that is not supporting our soul's growth. All right. May the 17th, Mars conjuncts Neptune in Pisces at 24 plus degrees. So this is a lot of kind of false flags, debt, inflation, soulmate seeking, could be extremely psychic. Mars conjunct Neptune in Pisces, it's like active dreaming, lucid dreaming. I'm awake. I'm aware that I'm in the dream. So that could be really positive. Of course, all the planetary aspects can be positive or negative. That happens on the 18th in Eastern Daylight Time and Greenwich Mean Time. The Sun enters Gemini on the 19th, late at night on the 19th, and on the 20th, if you're in GMT, so it's Gemini time. And again, because Mercury is retrograde, it will conjunct the Sun on the 21st. That's called a Mercury Cazimi. It's good for doing talismans. Mercury is sitting at the heart of the Sun, okay, at 0 degrees of Gemini. So kind of an interesting, because Mercury is in Gemini as well. It could be very strong, okay? Again, reviewing, publishing, writing, advertising, all of that, going over how you put out your social media. Mercury re-enters Taurus on the 22nd, again, late in Pacific Daylight and Eastern Daylight Time on the 23rd. So backing up into Taurus. So we're going to go from, Mercury and Gemini back into Taurus. It's really reviewing all of the practical things, okay, until Mercury stations direct. On the 23rd, Mercury sextiles Mars. Again, this is a good psychic energy. Mercury sextiling Mars and Pisces can go back and kind of remember things. It could be even past life memories or dreams or creative projects. It would be a great time to go back to review them. And then Venus also in Aries sextile Saturn in Aquarius on the 24th. Again, Venus sextile Saturn, it's good to get your finances in order, good for reviewing your social media, connecting with people on the internet. It's love on the internet, right? Venus and Aries sextile Saturn. So you could meet someone new on that day, May the 24th. On the 24th, also, Mars enters Aries on the 24th, Pacific Daylight, Eastern Daylight on the 25th, in Greenwich Mean Time. So Mars and Aries, he's at home, so again, the energy is going to really start amping up. It's going to start to be very fiery at that point. So things are going to be able to start to cook. So that's good for all the fire signs and air signs because it supports those as well. On the 25th, Mercury retrograde in Taurus trines Pluto in Capricorn. Again, a big wealth degree, 28 degrees, Taurus on Algol, the most feared star in the sky, but don't worry about that. She's just a fierce, beautiful goddess who was made into a monster. So for women, I would say that's very empowering. So women could be lobbying against restrictions in the world or breaking through some corporate ceilings there. On the 26th, Venus and Aries squares Pluto. Again, it's kind of heavy for finance. Again, Venus and Aries could be new forms of cryptocurrency coming out, new business restrictions in a way as well, because it's still Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto is retrograde as well. You know that, right? Okay. On the 27th as well, Venus square Pluto, power struggles in love. This could be endings to relationships. Venus and Aries, she's just going to go after what she wants, So then, squaring Pluto is like power struggles in love. Some people like that. Turns on some people, they like that heavy control stuff. Okay. May 28th, Venus enters her home sign of Taurus, 7:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight, 10:45 a.m. Eastern Daylight, 2:45 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So while Venus is in Taurus and Mars is in Aries, they're both very strong. They're both in their home signs. And so that's a really, again, empowering energy. On the 29th, Mars conjuncts Jupiter in Aries. Now, that is also a big day at 3 degrees of Aries. Now, again, that could be a dangerous thing. It's Aries, danger of fire, explosions, attacks. Be careful. Don't, run guns. Any fire issues could be false flags, could be anything. Mars conjunct Jupiter in Aries. New beginnings, a great time to plan a new beginning. Okay. The new moon is in Gemini at 9 degrees on the 30th. And so again, if you have planets at early Gemini there, that would be a good time to work with that energy. Okay. All right. Okay. Went through all that. Okay. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to smudge everybody here. I'm going to smudge my cards. So this is the part you've been waiting for. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the deck. I'm going to shuffle them with my left hand. This is just the procedure that I use. I'm going to tune in with my special crystal here, my Herkimer diamond crystal. Tune into everybody. So I'm going to start to pull out cards for Aries, okay? And I also have this beautiful Muse tarot deck here. Very popular, very beautiful modern deck. I'm also going to pull out a card as a helping card just to give you something new here, just to change it up a bit. Okay, so Aries. Okay, Aries. All right. Okay, so Aries, you get the Devil card. All right, so with Venus in Aries, uh, you get to be the devil in disguise. You get to wear the red dress or be the Scarlet Woman, or you might get blamed for that if you're being too aggressive or too mouthy or too, you know, because you don't want any BS anymore. Venus in Aries. Now, traditionally, Venus in Aries is in detriment, it's called, because she's in Mars sign. And this is an old traditional thing, and I understand how that works. But, these are kind of old patriarchal terms as well. So for me, Venus in Aries, women can be warrioresses. She's like Wonder Woman. She's an Amazon. So, for women, it means like you go for it, right? And somebody said, yeah, no detrimental relationships anymore. We don't go there. So, if you're projecting that someone else is the devil, maybe you want to look at your own dark side, your own shadows, and do that shadow work right now. We're kind of coming out of the fog of Venus and Pisces there. So it's kind of feel a bit like, oh my God, what have I been doing? What have I been fascinated about? What have I been projecting on that love affair, that too good to be true anything? So, you also need to take back your own projections that you've had on other people. So again, this might be a bit of a kind of a rude awakening, let's say. Okay. Better the devil you know than the one you don't. You know that one, right? So this is Capricorn energy. Again, Venus and Aries, Capricorn energy. So it's about planning your long-term goals. Venus and Aries, I know Venus and Aries is impatient. It's kind of like a cheetah. It's good at short-term runs, not so much long-term. They tend to, give out of energy. But this is more, Venus and Aries, more maturing, kind of like your dark side is like sustainability. How do I go for the long run? How do I get to the top of the mountain? So the devil here might be a good thing because it's Capricorn energy. Okay. And ultimately, the devil, someone just told me a story about some person in Pennsylvania who had a shop and was selling tarot decks, and they took out all the devil cards and burned them because they believed the devil, like if you looked at the devil card, you're actually bringing in the devil, which is totally crazy because that's that person's shadow. Of course, that's their projection. The devil was created by the Christian church because actually it was just May Day, and Pan, or the god Pan, was traditionally like Capricorn. He's a goat. He's a satyr, and that was the goddess's lover. So Capricorn traditionally has that reputation for being the devil, but we know he really isn't. Okay, so Aries, the devil card. Now, if that card scares you, then I'm going to pick another card for Aries. Now, if you know your rising sign is Aries, your moon's in Aries, your sun's in Aries, Venus is in Aries, Mars is in Aries, Mercury in Aries, you can use the devil card to help inform you. Okay, so you get the card here. This is called the Nine of Voices. It's a very beautiful deck here. So this is like the 9 voices are air in this deck. So it would be like 9 voices telling you maybe all these different whispers, like the devil's worshiping you or seducing you to do things. So you have to be discerning. Okay, so Aries. All right, you get the devil. Okay, and we know you're not the devil. Okay, so Taurus. Let's see what Taurus gets here. So how many Tauruses are there here? Okay, so Taurus. Okay, with Uranus and Taurus, of course, that cosmic cattle prod. Okay, let's see what we got here. Taurus. Okay, Taurus energy. All right, there we go. Okay, so you get the Tower here. So the Tower card, the number 16, is about that shock of recognition. This is Mars. One of the reasons I like this deck is because it does have the astrological signs on it. So some kind of shocking awareness or shocking change, it can be very positive, but usually people feel it as difficult because, of course, Tauruses do not like change. They're fixed signs, and neither do any of the fixed signs. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are still fixed signs. So this could be a revelation, though. Seeing the false, it's really about the false persona coming down. The tarot is actually a very sacred journey of the 22 major arcana showing the soul's journey. So each card represents a step that one's soul must go through, must incorporate before you get to go on. So again, maybe you need to tear those walls down or leave that job or stop the artifice, stop pretending, stop projecting, stop being something you're not, Taurus. Maybe you're just tired. Maybe you just go, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I have to let it all crumble. So sometimes that crumbling is a necessary stage. Things have to come down. The building has to be exploded before you can build something new. So again, this is Taurus energy, speaking with your throat, Mars and Taurus, speaking your truth. Okay. So the Tower, big change in your outlook, but it can be like a real epiphany. So you might be aware of getting some insights there and paying attention to that. Okay. So Taurus, the Tower. Okay. All right. So Taurus. Okay. You get this card here. This is the Five of Inspiration. Five of Inspiration. This is fire. So just look at these cards. This is kind of windows of opportunity here as well. I think that goes quite nice with the Tower, that there's loopholes and things that you can jump through even when you get the Tower card. Okay. All right. Gemini. Now, because Mercury's in Gemini, it's going to go retrograde in Gemini. You got to get ready, Geminis. Okay. All right. So Gemini, you get the Star card. So this card here, the number 17, is a really beautiful card. It's traditionally about wishing on a star. So take the big view. Again, it's Aquarius energy, Gemini. So another air sign. Looking at your situation from the bigger perspective. What do I need to bring in here that I haven't seen? So perhaps Gemini, while Mercury goes retrograde from Gemini into Taurus, you can really backtrack and maybe pick up the pieces or the threads that you've missed. For example, you want to go back and kind of understand what your cosmic purpose is and the weave and the weft of the great web of things, right? So again, you're the star, Gemini, so again, with Mercury and Gemini, you are the star. Pay attention to how much your words, your thoughts, your deeds do create reality in the world. And this is also a breaking free card, breaking free of old ideas, old stagnant things. The star, it's Aquarius. It's about revolution. It's about freedom. It's about reinventing yourself. Again, with Uranus in there as well. In your in your 12th house. Uranus is in your 12th house, Gemini. Big changes in your unconscious. So let that take place too while Mercury is retrograde. So the star, how are you sparkling? How are you shining? What is your vibration that you're bringing down to earth? Okay, see yourself as being part of the big cosmic picture. Okay, so Gemini, you get the star, number 17. And Gemini, okay, you get the Two of Voices. Again, this is an air card here, Two of Voices. So again, this is very Gemini-like. Of course, you're always being split and going in two different directions. So again, when Mercury goes retrograde here, you can go back and look at maybe how you literally tear yourself apart or keep yourself from finishing or, just not willing to commit. Okay, so when Mercury goes back into Taurus, then you can make some practical adjustments. Let's put it that way. Okay. All right, so Cancer. Okay, so what's Cancer got going on here? Okay, Cancer. All right, you get the card of Lust. Now, in my deck, the number 11 is called Strength. In this deck, it's called Lust. So this is Cancer is very passionate, new affair coming in your life, new passions, whatever that is, cooking, family, home, moving, upholding your values. So Cancer, this is a power, it's like Leo energy, it's like, again, you being the star of the show. So owning your power, it's very big hearted, Cancers have big hearts anyway, but this is even a bigger heart opening. And really you want to inspire other people and you want to take a stand for what it is you really revere. Okay. So Cancer, this is like Cancer Leo energy. Again, that might be a Leo in your life, actually very literally. Or what can you do to display your strengths and your big heart and your sense of will and purpose in a bigger way? So it's very creative, very fiery. Cancer is the sign of fertility anyway. So new creative projects, it can mean a promotion. You get to be the queen or the king at this time, Cancer. So that's a really beautiful and really feed your strengths, like Joseph Campbell always said, follow your bliss. This is very much about following your bliss, Cancer. Okay. All right. So Cancers. All right. So Cancer, you also get, the Queen of Inspiration here. Okay. Yeah, this is a really kind of unique deck here. So again, very much like the Strength card there. What inspires you? What makes you feel like you're basking in the sun and what makes you glow and what puts you at the center of your source. So it's very much, I like it when they do this synchronistic thing. That's what tarot cards do the best. All right. So now Leo. All right, so Leo, what does Leo get here? All right, so Leo, you get the Hangman. Okay, so the Hangman, the number 12, this is a very powerful card. I know most people always want it to be this way if you're a tarot neophyte or a tarot virgin, but this is the way it goes. So this is one of the three, what they call maternal letter cards. The tarot is based on the Kabbalah. There's those correspondences with the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life. So this one is a special card. These major three cards, it is the Hangman, the Fool, and Judgment are actually those three specific cards. This one is specifically, you can see, related to Neptune because it's about surrender and martyrdom and things being turned upside down. So, Leo, where do things seem totally crazy and inverted in your life? There's some things you cannot control. Leo is a proud sign. They like to be in control. They like to be the star of the show. So maybe if you're not feeling that stellar these days, you have to give it up. You have to surrender it to God or the goddess or the great mystery or whatever you want to call it and go, you know what? I can't control everything. I just have to let it go. So this is a time where you don't want to get to be the martyr, although Leos rarely are martyrs, but maybe that can happen to you too. So knowing when to let go, is a great relief and a great freedom. And also looking at things from a totally fresh, new perspective. Maybe it's the opposite of what you thought it was. Gives you new insights. Okay, so Leo, you get the Hangman. All right. So, hold on a second. People are asking me questions there. I'll have to get to them after. Okay, so Leo, you get the 10 of Inspirations. Again, inspiration here is fire. So this is a fulfillment. All the 10s are fulfillments. So again, for Leo there, this can be fulfilling your wishes. You have to know what it is you want. Okay, what inspires you? So this could be new inspirations. All right, so Virgo. All right, what does Virgo get here? Okay, this one's a lot more involved than what I usually do. All right, so Virgo, you get the number 21 here. Now, this is the world or the universe in the tarot. You can see it says Saturn on there. Okay, so this is the end of the journey, Virgo. This is where you go, okay, I've been there, done that, learned that lesson. I've been inspired, I've reached nirvana, I've ascended, but now I have to come down off the mountain and, pay my taxes, that Saturn, the tax man, and, do the laundry and do the dirty work and be real. So this is a challenge for you, Virgo. I mean, you're the most hardworking OCD sign in the zodiac. We know that. So this can represent the end of a relationship, job, maturity. It's Saturn, testing the end of the test. All the Pisces planets have been opposite your sign. So for a lot of you Virgos, this has been quite trying, I would imagine, really pulling you into a kind of a more spiritual situation. So now that's a sign that this is over and you can sort of stake your claim in the world as well and let people know that you've got a handle on things. You always have a handle on things. But again, sense of endings and completion, Virgo. Okay, so you're ready to start a new journey. So, of course, Virgo in the tarot is the Hermit. So finish things up, of course. I know you will, and clean up everything before you're ready to go into a new situation. Okay, so Virgo. So you get the Four of Voices. Okay, the Four of Voices. And very beautiful card there, very psychic card. So Virgo, I think you got to really pay attention to your dreams and your psychic energy and your vision, especially while Mars and Jupiter, especially at its latter degrees here, and Neptune are still in Pisces. So really sit and meditate, listen to your inner vision. It's important. It will help balance you. Okay, so Libra. Okay, y'all still with me here? So Libra, what does Libra get here? Okay, so Libra, you get the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so again, this is your sun, your rising, your moon sign, Wheel of Fortune. This is Jupiter. So Libra, so Jupiter brings expansion, opportunity, fertility, creativity. Things are moving. Things are going to move much faster, of course, especially when Jupiter enters Aries. It'll be opposite your sign. So new beginnings in relationships or work or business or anything where you relate to the world, of course. Take a chance, buy a lottery ticket. I don't usually say things like that because I find it a little surface, but, this would be a good luck sign. Feel lucky, expect luck, bet on yourself, have faith. You know, things have been really hard, and I know, of course, they have been very challenging for everybody. Have some faith, you know, trust and be open, be optimistic, have a sense of humor. You know, this is a good sign. Okay. So Libra, Wheel of Fortune. So money's coming to you. Okay. So think about, where do you want to spend your money? Where do you want to put it? I know there's inflation everywhere. You might want to save a little money for the future, in fact, but this is a good positive energy. So you should be feeling fortunate, Libra. Okay. So Libra. All right. So you get a little help from the Four of Materials. Now, materials in this deck are all shown by roses, and materials are coins or discs or earth. So Libra, you get some, again, that sign of wealth, the fours. So the fours represent the four elements, represents power. So there's definitely money coming to you, Libra. Okay, that's a good thing. Everybody can always use money. Okay, so Scorpio. Okay, now the South Node is in Scorpio, and the big total lunar eclipse is coming up in Scorpio as well. So you get the Death card. Okay, this is the Scorpio card. Okay, so Scorpio, this is the Scorpio of Scorpio. Again, death, nothing to be afraid of. Death, rebirth, transformations is everything that Scorpio is all about, that knows only all too well that the soul is running the show. So again, I would prepare for, again, major releasing, you know, revelations, just letting go deeper and deeper. I know it feels like no matter how much work you've done, oh my God, can I keep going? But yes, Scorpio, you can, because you're just that fixed emotional sign here. I mean, it can literally mean endings, of course, in your life and relationships, cutting off what no longer is serving your soul. I mean, that is the collective energy right now. Anything that's not serving your soul anymore, emotionally, boom, it's got to go. Okay. Especially, I believe, with Pluto at those last degrees of Capricorn as well, even more. So Scorpio, deeper and deeper letting go, going into your shadow work, again, control issues, karma, things that you weren't even aware of. Again, getting deeper and deeper into the roots, into your ancestors. This is ancestry work as well. Listen to your ancestors on a deeper level. So Scorpio, more and more. You're doing the good work. Just keep doing more of it. Okay. All right, so Scorpio, the help from, yeah, big Scorpio energy. Exactly. Okay. So Scorpio, oh, you get the Wheel of Fortune here in this other deck. So this is nice. So the more you do that work, the great work it's called, the more positive things come to you. So you have to trust that, you know, fortune on the outer level is great, and we all need it. We all need to pay our rent and all of that stuff. But it's really about doing the soul work. That's what you came here to do. So the Wheel of Fortune can also bring financial success as well. Okay. All right. I have Scorpio ascendant. So, okay, Sag. Okay, so Sagittarius. Okay, you get the Hermit. Okay, so Sag. Number 9, the Hermit here, it's like Virgo energy. So Sagittarius is, we know you promise more than you deliver usually. This is where you've got to stop and slow down and maybe take some time out and listen to your gut instincts and finish what you started. It's time to publish. It's time to finish off the writing. It's time to take care of your health, how you eat. Your digestion might be a little bit off. You know, just go back and listen, just slow down. It's good to be in nature, Sagittarius. It is spring here now in the Northern Hemisphere. You know, go digging in the garden. You go smell that smell of everything kind of blooming. It's very invigorating. So you need time to be alone, Sagittarius. Don't push that river. When Jupiter enters Aries, yes, you will get more energy. Venus and Aries will give the fire signs, you know, Aries, Leo, and Sag more energy, of course, but don't rush ahead too much. Okay. Pay attention to your body. Go slow, slow and steady, like the tortoise wins the race. Okay. So it's good to take time out. You know, this is good. Finish up what you started. Okay. All right. So Sag, let's see what you get here. So Sagittarius. Okay. You get the Knight of Materials. Again, so the Knights are like the Kings, I believe, in this deck, and materials is, again, matter. There's those roses. It's a horse, which is very nice for Sagittarius as well. Always that synchronicity work. So Sag, again, paying attention to the details. The real things count the most right now. Okay. So Capricorn. Okay. Capricorns. All right. Capricorn, you get the card of the sun here. So nice and sunny. Time to be positive, to celebrate. There's the two inner children playing. This is a sense of reconnecting to your childhood. It could be friends or your siblings, especially when Mercury goes retrograde. I'm just kind of intuiting this. So Capricorn, the sun, things to celebrate, things to be grateful for, things to, shine your light in the world about. Don't be shy. So, positive energy, celebration, no matter how hard a time it's been, this is where you go, okay, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. I made it. Oh, thank God. I thought I'd never get there, but I'm finally there. So, again, very positive, hopeful, optimistic. How do you feel in the sunshine? Um, maybe you have to wear your sunscreen sometimes, but usually people like the sun. Okay, so what brings you enlightenment? What turns you on? Excuse me, that's all sun energy. Okay, it's the highest powered energy in the deck. So being at your source. Again, the pun about soul, SOL, and your soul. Okay, so Capricorn, do what turns you on. Okay, so Caps, let's see what kind of help you get. Okay, all right, so Capricorn, you get, okay, the 9 of materials. So again, this practical stuff. Capricorns love practical stuff. Again, manifestation, material wealth. This is good. This can be a big raise for you, something really positive that you've worked really, really hard for. You finally get the reward. So this is a very positive sign here for all your hard work. Things are manifesting. Trust that. Nines are sense of completions. This is very, very good for Capricorn. Okay. So Aquarius. Okay. Chris, what do you get? Okay, you get the number 20 here. This is the card called the Aeon, or traditionally it's called Judgment Day. If you have a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the most popular card deck in the world, this is called Judgment, and it's about Judgment Day, and it's about revelation. So the number 20 in this deck is called the Aeon. It's called the Awakening. It has different names in different decks. So the number 20 is about rebirth. So Aquarius, of course, Saturn going through your sign, is about testing you for that rebirth. It is about becoming aware of something new needing to be born right now, a new consciousness, leaving the past behind. Again, Aquarius is all about rebellion and freedom and being at the cutting edge and inventing and pioneering and being your own unique self. So this might be, there is that sense of the womb there. There's the goddess Nuit in this symbol and the divine child. So Aquarius, this is where, you tend to be, again, archetypally airy and scientific. And, people say Aquarius are unemotional. That's not true. Everybody has emotions, but they can be detached because they're analytical air signs. But this is can be very fertile. Again, an inner child, doing your inner child work, feeding your inner child. What does he or she or it want? It's about playfulness. It's about creating something new. Aquarius are the inventors, so something new, a new opportunity also coming into your life at this time. So sit with that for a while, Aquarius. Find out what that really means for you. Again, I think when Mercury goes retrograde from Gemini back into Taurus, that might be a good time for you. So pay attention to what you're giving birth to and don't judge yourself too much. Okay, Aquarius. Okay, that's the Judgment card. Okay, so Aquarius, what do you need right now? Okay, you have, okay, the 5 of emotions again. So again, emotions here for Aquarius. The 5s are always testing, the middle of a 10-year cycle here, or a 10 cycle. Restrictions on emotions. Where am I cutting myself off emotionally? Where do I cut myself off at the knee where I don't express what I'm really feeling? And maybe that's a sign of, a rebirth of emotions and things that you haven't felt in a long time, and really connecting to things from your childhood or from your past with your parents, with your father, especially with Saturn and Aquarius. So reconnecting to something in your childhood that you need to feed. Okay, I feel like that's really the most important message there. Okay. All right. Pisces. All right. Okay. So Pisces, you get, now this is a very special card I use. This is the big kind of teaching deck that I use. This is a very special card. In the Tree of Life, there are 10, what they call Sephiro or stages on the tree of life. And this is the 11th one. It's the invisible one. It's called Da'at in Hebrew. And so I like to call it the calling from your holy guardian angel. Now, considering Pisces that you've just had this most incredible Venus-Jupiter conjunction with Venus at the 27th at her exalted degree, hasn't happened in hundreds and hundreds of years. I'd say Pisces, definitely, you are totally connected to your holy guardian angel, and you have to only listen to that, okay? Now, if you don't feel connected to your guardian angel, this is a sure sign that it's there. And for everybody who has any planets in Pisces, or even if you have no planets in Pisces, just look at your chart where Pisces is, because this is where you need to connect with your holy guardian angel, or what they call your higher self. So the role of the guardian angels, there are four major archangels, Michael, Raphael, Ariel, Gabriel, that have been used traditionally in Judaism and Islam and Christianity, of course. You can call upon them anytime. That is their job. You just have to ask your holy guardian angels to help you. So you might want to practice a little bit, like you ask your parking angels to help you out, and then you ask them to give you signs in your dreams, especially, or when you're awake, or you want to get a message from a loved one who's passed on. Usually they leave white feathers or coins or something that's symbolic to you that only you know. It could be a little flower or something like that, or a cat, or whatever it is. So Pisces, definitely, you have the ability to really manifest miracles right now. And so you need to use your power. Of course, you need to protect yourself as well. Use your dreaming power, use your imagination, use your compassion, use your sense of charity, to send that energy out to the world. We really do need that healing energy sent out to the world. So everybody who's a Pisces, or everybody who has any planets in Pisces, or wherever Pisces is in your chart, really ask your guardian angel to come and help you in that house, even if it's empty, intercepted, or whatever. Okay, it's a very beautiful card here. All right, so Pisces. Okay, Time Lords Magazine's out soon. All right. Okay, so Pisces, you get the card of strength here. Now in this deck, it is number 8, I believe. Is it number 8? Yeah, it's number 8 in this deck. Okay, so strength. So Pisces, you have to have that strength, that willpower, that Leo energy. So you could call upon a spirit lion to come and protect you as your spirit guide. That's like the Archangel Raphael is actually associated with Leo. So really call upon the Archangel Raphael to come and work with you. He's got a beautiful emerald green heart energy. Okay, so for everybody, all this Pisces energy, we need this right now to send this out to the world. That strength of knowing that we're spiritual beings temporarily having this physical manifestation. All right. So if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at taratarot.com. I'd be happy to connect with you. And of course, join the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. They have wonderful, wonderful astrologers. And I look forward to seeing you next month. And so many, many blessings to you all. Okay. Thank you. I don't know if I can read all this. It felt like I kind of